Hey everyone, welcome back to another Kevin's Kreations here on Geektopia Island. I'm Kevin.
I'm Cardwell.
And we're back today to showcase the deck that I played at this last GP last weekend at Minnesota. Thanks again, Svetlana, for a great tournament. It was really awesome. I didn't do so well, but it wasn't terrible.
Sometimes that's what happens at tournaments.
Sometimes you run against 4 1-1 rulers. Sometimes you play old set where you're like Violet, Olivia's.
And then you don't get to play test them because who's going to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Overall, it was a fun tournament, but besides, we're going to get to the bet. I'm going to show you what I played. It was Carlina Asmodius. It's how I play. It's always how I play. Play big dudes and play lots of cards.
Yep.
It's just what I do.
That's Kevin Magic.
Kevin Magic.
That's Kevin Magic is what we call it.
But before we get into it, guys, remind you that down below we do have our Forcible Grimoire app. It is our database for Forcible that we have made, and it's super easy to find any card you need to get. Super easy to make a deck and do whatever you need to do while you're out and about doing stuff. If you're like, hey, I remember a deck, or you see something or see some card combos that you like, you can just put them in there and remember them for later. It's super nice. That's how I build all the decks now, because it's just literally like I'm going to search for whatever card I want.
Yep. And he shares the link to our email, and then we put it on everything, and we get to see it.
Yep.
And speaking with the links down below, we do have a Patreon. And it only takes $1 to support us, and we really appreciate it if you did. There you can go ahead and get our videos early of our deck techs. And also the fact that you get your name at the end of the credits as well. But with that, it will be down below, and we'd really appreciate it.
Let's delve into it. So, like I said, Carlina Asmodius. Carlina is the black-green ruler from the new set. She judgments for a black and a green, energizes black and a green, tag fallen, so you can only play with one spell a turn is her like downside. And like, it is pretty much a pretty big downside. Like,
yeah,
she's super strong, don't get me wrong, but playing one spell a turn is a lot more dangerous than I thought it was. Like, I underestimated how hardcore that is. But her other ability is tap, produce 2 wills in any combination of attributes. And then God's Art Gluttony, pay 0 spells you control with cost 4 or more can't be canceled this turn, and whenever you card cost total 4 or more enters the field under your control, draw 2 cards. So you get to draw lots of cards off of her, but you still only play one spell a turn.
Yep.
And when she judgments, she's a 9/9 with flying and barrier 2 or less. Prevent all damage will be dealt to this card by barriers with total cost 2 or less. And if this card would be dealt damage, or would deal damage to a J Resonator, it deals double that much instead. Still only play 1 card a turn and produce 2 wills in any attribute. She's super strong on that backside, like alone, just because she's like, hey, I have protection from 2 drops.
Yeah.
And that, it's crazy how strong that is, because you got to remember that every ruler is also a 2-drop. Or it costs 0, so she has protection from J rulers. And that's kind of disgusting.
For sure. And all the most powerful creatures nowadays are pretty lowest costing.
The next ruler we have is Asmodeus. He was one of my favorite ones of the set that I saw, and he's one of the black rulers. Judgments for 2 black, tag fallen. You must have exactly 60 cards in your deck. As the game starts, you may not have this card in your side deck. Tap, banish a non-J ruler entity, put 4 1/1 counters on this card, remove the top 2 from your deck from the game. And then his God's Art is Lust, 0, remove the top 7 from your deck from the game. Put X 1/1 counters on each J Resonator you control. And then where X is the different names among those 7 cards removed. So you remove X cards and you get X counters. And then when he judgments, he's a 2/2 flyer, but he has all the counters on the front that you've still accumulated. Yeah. And then J Resonators you control with 1/1 counters on them. He gains swiftness. Tap, banish a non-J ruler entity, put 4 1/1 counters on this card. This dude gets to one-shot you out of nowhere, because you're just like, hey, cool, all my dudes get 7 counters, or any combination of 5 to 7.
Yeah.
I've never hit below 5, so you're going to get probably 5 to 7 counters on every time. So you're just like, hey, cool, free counters and kill you.
And then, of course, whatever big dude you play with Carlina, then they get swiftness because they have counters on them, and you just go for it. Now, first Resonator, of course, is Neverend Fairy Tale. It's a 1 blue, 1/1 flying, enter, draw a card. This card gains +14/+14, and fairy tales you control gain eternal, as long as there are 10 or more fairy tales in the field under your control and or in your graveyard. Rest of recovered J ruler you control, cards you control, and cards you own in non-field zones gain fairy tale until end of turn. So graveyard, hand, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. He's just there to help you protect your stuff.
Yep.
Next is Spirit of Knowledge. It is 1 blue for a 1/1. Enter, search your deck for a card with total cost 4 or more, reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Card, you're playing Carlina, so you're going to need big dudes, and that goes and gets them.
Yep, and one of the channel's favorites, Mikage Reiya, of course. It's a 1 darkness 4/4 vampire. Quick cast, flying, enter, search your deck for a darkness card and put it in the graveyard, then shuffle your deck. Vampires you control gain drain. And whenever this card is banished as an additional cost of Mage Art and the effect of Mage Art, put this card from the graveyard into your hand. Just so good. Just really good.
Next up is Dracula, Reborn Vampire / the Jewel of Darkness.
Yeah.
This dude is a lot better than I gave him credit for in this format because Belial is a card.
Yeah, right.
And the reason why is because this dude is a 4/4 with flying and barrier white. That's why this card's good. And then +1/+1 counters on this card do not cease to exist when he's put from the graveyard to the field or vice versa. And then when this card is put into the graveyard from the field, at the next end of turn, put this card into the field with 2/1/1 counters additionally put on it. And then the chance side is the Jewel of Darkness, which is Remnant. Black and 6. It's cost 1 less for each 1/1 counter on this card, and it's destroy all J Resonators your opponent controls.
Yeah.
So if you get to have him in play, you're just like, cool. Like you want this dude in play and you want to kill him a lot. You want to block everything and kill everything with this dude because you're just like, cool, I get bigger every time.
Yeah, it's crazy silly. And the next one, of course, is Brad, the Masked Mage. It's a 2 green, 6/6. Enter, put a card with Seal from your graveyard into your hand. And then green tap, return target spell to its owner's hand. When this card is put in the graveyard from the field, put it at the bottom of the owner's deck. So you don't accidentally loop it and go crazy with it.
Yeah, and that dude is just super good against Carlina because they get to play 1 spell and you're like, cool, bounce it.
Yeah, thanks.
And if you get 2 Brads in play, they don't get to play anymore. Like, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Next is Fallen Angel of the Mark. It is 1 black and 1 white for a 2/2 with flying. Enter, draw a card. Pay 1 black, 1 white, and 1. Destroy target Resonator. Put a 4/4 Resonator into play.
Simple as that.
She is super strong because she just kills the thing.
Yeah, just straight up, just kill it. Thanks. Vergilius, Rebel against Satan, or Vergilius. 3 darkness, 10/10 swiftness. This guy's a powerhouse. You may make a J ruler you control astral other than play this card. Play a black, choose 1. This card deals 400 damage to target player or J Resonator. This card deals 400 damage to your opponent and each J Resonator your opponent controls. Only choose this if it is attacking. And then has, for the Fallen trigger, it's Drain and Bane. So you can just gain so much, destroy so much, and just go for it.
If you're not playing this dude in New Frontiers, then you're not playing New Frontiers right, honestly.
At all.
Because this dude, that dude is literally good in any deck, just as long as you have any kind of source of black. I've even seen it in Olivia, because you're like, Judgment Olivia, get my stuff, and then kill Olivia, take 10. Like, card's insane. It's a free take 10.
Exactly.
Next is Athena, the Guardian of Blaze. She has 2 white and a red for an 8/8 with flying and drain. Whenever you gain life, put 2 1/1 counters on this card. Pay a white, you gain 2 life. Pay a red, this card deals damage equal to the 1/1 counters on this card to target J Resonator. So with Carlina, you're just like, cool, as long as I have 2 free mana. Like, Carlina says 1 spell a turn. She doesn't say abilities, so any kind of extra abilities you can do makes Carlina a lot stronger. And this girl is a good way to dump mana.
Yeah, because you're probably going to have some free will towards the end of the game to be able to just end it with her. Next one is Valentina, owner of the theater. It's a 6/10, 3 blue. Enter. Gain control of all Resonators your opponent's controls as long as this card's on the field. And that's just silly.
Yeah.
That's just silly.
Yeah. Next is Scheherazade, Weaver of Fairy Tales. He is 1 green and 2 for an 8/8 with Enter. You may search your deck for a rendition or a Resonator, total cost 1 or less, and put it in the field. If this card is awakened, you may search for both instead, then shuffle your deck. Awakening, rest to recover J roll you control.
Yep. All right, next one is, of course, Magna's Guardian Beast. It's a green, red, and green. It's a 6/6. Enter. You may search your deck for up to 2 Resonators of total cost 1 and put them in the field, and then shuffle your deck. And then when you have so many 1-drops that you can just easily be put on the field, it's amazing.
Also with Carlina, this dude's really strong because you only get 1 spell, so that 1 spell has to do a lot for you. And if this dude comes in and brings you 2 more dudes, that means he's automatically good.
Yep.
Next is Angel of Healing, 2 white and a green for an 8/8 flying quick cast. Enter, you gain 1,000 life, prevent the next X damage is dealt to the target Resonator. And if this card enters from the deck, draw 2 cards.
Yep. Next one is Hunting Angel. It's a classic now, 2 white and 2, 12/12 flying. Enter, destroy target Resonator your opponent controls. You gain life equal to its defense. And with a white, discard this card, destroy target attacking creature. With the Fallen trigger, whenever you gain life, this card deals that much damage to your opponent. So yeah, just to be able to play this, kill a dude, and if you went ahead and God's Art this turn, then you get to do all that damage as well.
Yeah, and Fallen trigger, as long as you've done a God's Art, you get to get that.
Yeah.
Next is Faria, Igniter of Holy Fire. It is 2 white and 2 red for a 12/12 swiftness. Enter, search your deck for any number of cards named the first boon, put them in your hand. Each turn you may play the first card named first boon without paying its cost, and then prevent the next damage will be dealt to this card by the first source each turn. And you gain that much life. So she's really, really strong because she just gives you a free card advantage and gets to gain you life.
Yeah. Mikage Seijuro is 2 black, green, and a black. It's a 12/12 flying precision. Amazing. So when a Resonator is dealt damage by this card, you turn it, put it in the graveyard. Put it in the field under your control. It gains darkness in addition to its other attributes, and it is also a vampire. Remove a stranger. We don't have that, so we'll go to enter. You may pay any amount of life. This card deals that much damage to target Resonator your opponent controls. And then, of course, you kill it, you get it back, voila.
Yeah.
And if you have Mikage Reiya, you don't lose that life because you gain it back. It gives them drain.
Next is Celestial Wing Serif. It is 2 white and 3 for a 10/10 flyer. Whenever it comes into play, you search your deck for an angel, costs 4 or less, and put it in the field. And then whenever it attacks, you gain 300 life for each angel you control. So both the angels that we have is either Hunting Angel or Angel of Healing, both of which are really good to get because either one will gain you life. And the Angel of Healing draws you 2 cards, where if you God's Art this turn with Celestial Wing Serif and you God's Art Carlina, then you draw 4 cards off of it, and you just get to...
And then Hunting Angel,
Angel killed them.
Damage.
So it's super nice.
Yeah, ridiculous. We have our first split card here. Altesing, Mischievous Boy. It's 2 green, Resonator, quick cast. Prevent all damage that will be dealt by target J Resonator until end of turn. Green, return this card to the owner's hand. You may pay 2 green less to play a Glimpse of the Prodigy. And which is that second side is a chant, quick cast, cancel target spell, or automatic ability. Just powerful. Just a super powerful card.
Next is Fallen Angel of Black Tears. It is 3 black and 2 for a 12/12 flyer. Enter, J Resonator your opponent control, get -X/-X till end of turn, where X is the attack of this card. Pay a black, discard this card, target J Resonator gains -4/-4 until end of turn, draw a card. She's super strong because she board wipes and draws you free cards.
Yeah. That's all you really need out of a creature, right? Especially if you can only play 1 spell a turn. Next one is Bone Dragon. Bone Saw's ready. And for a dragon, it is 5 darkness, 17/13 flying. You may play a black less for each darkness Resonator you control to put in the graveyard this turn. Enter. Put X 4/4 darkness zombie Resonator tokens in the field, where X is the number of Resonators in your graveyard. Just simple as that.
Next up is Geryon. He is still a very, very strong card.
Super staple.
2 green and 2 black and 1 for a 15/15 swiftness, precision, and flying. Your opponent cannot play spells that total cost 1 or less. Pay a green, remove this card from your hand, counter target spell 1 or less, or pay a black, remove this card from your hand, destroy target Resonator 1 or less. Doesn't matter what this dude does, this dude is super strong. And if Carlina gets to land this early, you get to shut down a lot of decks because you're like, hey, cool, don't play your 1-drops.
Don't play the 1-drops.
And right now, like, Black Witch is one of the best cards in the format, and you just get to be like, no.
Yeah, no thanks. No, good old classic as well. Griffin is black, green, and 4, 12/12 flying. Whenever this card enters the field, put the top 2 cards of the Magic Stone decks into your field. And that's all you really need from this card.
Yeah.
Because it works.
Next up is the first boon, Excalibur Cassius. It is a red and a white. It's quick cast. Remove up to 3 cards from your deck from the top of your deck from the game. You may cast them as long as they stay removed this way. Or you can produce 4 will and use it for only heroes, but we're not doing that. You're removing the top 3, and you get this for free off of the Farya.
Yep. Next one is number 13, Anti-Magic. It's a green and a white. Like everyone, I think everyone should just be playing this, right? Quick cast, cancel target spell. Seal 4, you may pay a white less to play this card. Seal 7, you can play this for free because it removes the green symbol. So it's just a free counter spell late game.
Next of Light of Raise and Revive. It is a red and a white for a quick cast. Choose 1, remove target non-J ruler, non-Magic Stone entity from 3 or less from the game. Put a Resonator total cost 3 or less from remove zone into the field. Or search your deck for a Light Regalia, reveal it, and put it in your hand.
Yep.
Card is kind of nuts because it gets a lot for you. And with the Asmodeus, you're already removing stuff, so you just get free value.
Yeah, for sure. Next one is Cradle, Scorching Heat. Is 1 red addition. Enter, draw a card. When this card is put in the graveyard from the field, it deals 800 damage to each J Resonator your opponent controls. That's what helps Asmodius.
Castle of Carlina. It is a black, green, and 2. It is probably one of the best castles in the New Frontiers right now, if not the best. Castle of Belial's like right next to it, but this one is super strong. Enter, search your deck for a card, total cost 5 or more, reveal it, put it in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Entities you control cannot be banished by spells and abilities your opponent controls. Spells you control cannot be canceled by spells your opponents control. And entities you control, total cost 4 or more, gain barrier. This thing gives itself barrier, and that's the most busted part of this card.
Yeah.
Because yes, it gives all your other big dudes barrier, but you can't answer this card by itself.
Yeah.
And that is what makes it so sad. Because like once this is in play, Inferno doesn't kill your dudes. You don't get your stuff doesn't get countered.
Yeah.
And they can't target your stuff.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting.
Then it's just fair force of will after that.
Yeah.
I feel like almost. Next is Castle of Beatrice. Is a black and a blue addition. Cards not named Castle of Beatrice in your graveyard cannot be targeted spells or abilities. Cannot be removed from the game effects as long as this card is in your graveyard. See, this had a balance to it where you can get rid of it. But blue-black, put a Resonator from your graveyard into your hand. Play this ability only if this card is in your graveyard, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, this card in Carlina is really strong just because you're like, cool, end of turn, pay blue-black, get back my dude.
Yeah.
Get back my hunting angel that I killed your dude with so I can always kill your dude.
For 1 white, it just goes in the graveyard. Oh, I get this back. I can do it again. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Next is Carlina's Hunting. It is a black, and green. Destroy all J Resonators other than J Rulers you control. Recover a J Ruler you control. If this card is awakened, destroy all additions as well. Awakening, rest a recovered J Ruler you control. You may play this card as though it had quick cast. If you rest another recovered J Ruler you control in addition to playing this cost. So if you have 4 mana and 2 open dudes, you can just play this on their turn and kill everything.
Yeah.
Which is really, really strong right now.
Yeah, one-sided board whites are always powerful. One of my favorite cards is a Part of True Power. It's a black-green Mage art with Remnant. As an additional cost to play this card, banish a Resonator. Put a target darkness card from your graveyard onto the field. Simple as that. It's beautiful. Always.
Yeah, and with Mikage Reiya, the Reiya comes back to your hand because this is a Mage art, so you get free value.
Exactly.
The final card of the deck is the Magic Stone, or the battle comes to an end and then, which is 2 black and 1. Name a card, search your opponent's deck, graveyard, and hand for all cards that share a name with that card and remove them from the game. Then your opponent shuffles their deck. So it's just like, hey, pay 3, go get a win con, or go get a problem card. So you're like, cool, go get rid of all your Vergiliuses so you can't do that.
Yeah, especially turn 1 if you're able to do it. Then you're just like, get rid of what makes your deck run. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. That is it for the deck itself. We're going to move into the stones real quick. They're pretty simple. First stone we have is Magic Stone of the 6 stages, which, again, this card is insanely strong right now.
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing, you should be playing it.
Wow.
It's kind of expensive to get, but hopefully they listen to us and make a promo of it, because then it's much easier to get.
Yeah, for sure.
Next is Ragnarok's Fiery Stone. It is, if you do not control Ragnarok, this comes into play rested, but calling a Magic Stone does not cause your ruler to tap, which is super nice.
Yes.
And then it produces one will of any attribute. Next is the Magic Stone of the Knowledge. It is the Brat Stone. Produce a green and seal 3, produce one will of any attribute. So
which I think is super powerful.
You're going to get seal 3.
Yeah.
Erythropia, the Bloodstone. It is tap, produce a black, or banish it until the end of the game. You may play God's Arts, all of Fallen Angel rulers you control an additional time.
Very awesome until it gets countered.
Yeah. And then Amadeus, the Holy Crystal. Produce a white, produce one will of any attribute, play this ability only if your opponent controls 2 or more J rulers.
Which most sadly, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I never really got to see that happen because I never really played 2 rulers that often.
Yeah.
Which was kind of odd, but it is what it is.
But after rotation, it will be a lot better.
Yeah.
Hopefully, possibly.
Yeah. That is really it for the deck. The deck was super fun to play. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed playing it. I still think Carlina is really, really strong.
Yeah.
I'm not I really like Asmodeus. I think he's a really strong ruler, but I don't know if he's the best ruler just because 60 is weird because it cuts down your consistency.
Yeah.
But
sometimes our favorite brew ideas just cannot cut it, sadly, in the major tournament scene.
And I do enjoy Carlina, but I don't know if she's what I should keep with because she's that one spell a turn, man. It really does hurt you.
Yeah.
Because if your opponent knows that you've already played your one spell, then they're like, I can do what I want.
Yeah,
you can't stop me. Like that's the issue is they get to be like, cool, great, do what I want.
Yep.
Thanks. And there's nothing you can do about it.
If you're playing a super control deck, then they'll just counter your one spell. and then do whatever they want ever. And that's the sad part.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But the deck list will be down below, guys. Go check it out and leave us a like down below and let us know what you think about it. And we'll see y'all again next time.
Goodbye.
Later. Also, guys, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to our channel. And then hit that bell for any future notifications that you have for our videos.
And we go ahead and give a big thank you to our fans for over the years, especially our Mythic and Above Patreon followers.
Thank you, Ryan.
With that, we love you. Thank you for your support.